Now we get to talk about some of the tough stuff. Child abuse. There are several different types of child abuse, and we'll talk about them now. The first one I want to talk about is physical abuse. Physical abuse is not a non-accidental injury of a child that leaves marks, scars, bruises, or broken bones. Some physical indicators of child abuse are unexplained bruises, burns, human bites, broken bones, missing hair, scratches. You can see that this poor little girl has definitely been physically abused. It doesn't always show, though. Sometimes the bruises are in places that are covered by clothes. And so there's some other things we can look for. Behavioral indicators of child abuse are kids that are wary of physical contact with adults. Behavioral extremes, either they're really aggressive or they're really withdrawn. They're afraid of their parents, they're afraid to go home, they cheat in school, they steal, they lie, and they wear layered clothing to cover up those bruises and scratches. Pretty sad. The next kind of abuse that we'll talk about is neglect. Neglect is the failure of parents or caretakers to provide needed, age-appropriate care, including food, clothing, shelter, protection from harm, and supervision appropriate to the child's development, hygiene, and medical care. Some physical indicators of neglect are kids that are constantly hungry, poor hygiene, kids that are really tired, lack of appropriate supervision, unattended physical problems or medical needs, abandonment, inappropriate clothing for weather conditions. And then some behavioral indicators of neglect are begging or stealing food, frequent school absences or tardies. They may crave affection, and they tell you that they don't have a caretaker or a parent. The next type of abuse is sexual abuse. Sexual abuse is any inappropriate sexual exposure or touch by an adult to a child or by an older child to a younger child. This includes, but is not limited to, fondling, sexual intercourse, sexual assault, rape, date rape, incest, child prostitution, exposure, and pornography. It doesn't matter whether the victim was forced or tricked into any of the above, it's still considered sexual abuse by the state of Utah. Some physical indicators of sexual abuse are difficulty walking or sitting, torn, stained, or bloody underclothing, pain or itching in the genital area, bruises, bleeding in the rectal or genital area, and a sexually transmitted infection or multiple sexually transmitted infections. Some behavioral indicators of sexual abuse are age-inappropriate sexual knowledge or sexual touch, doing things that a kid of that age normally wouldn't do, abrupt change in personality, withdrawn, poor peer relationships, they're unwilling to change for PE or participate in physical activities, promiscuous behavior, drop in school performance or decline in school interest, sleep disturbances, regressive behavior such as bedwetting. Those are all indicators that you can look for to help determine whether a child is being sexually abused. Emotional abuse. This picture shows that words can be just as painful as touch, as physical abuse. The definition of emotional abuse is parental behavior such as rejecting, terrorizing, berating, ignoring, or isolating a child that causes or is likely to cause serious impairment of the physical, social, mental, or emotional capacities of the child. Physical indicators of emotional abuse are speech disorders, lags in physical development, failure to thrive. And then behavioral indicators are habit disorders like sucking, biting, or rocking. Conduct disorders, which would be withdrawal, destructiveness, and cruelty. Sleep disorders or inhibition of play. And behavior extremes, either they're really aggressive or they're really passive. Abuse is a tough thing, a tough topic to talk about. Just looking for pictures of these different kinds of abuse almost had me in tears. But it's real, and it is something that we need to fight. So if you know of anyone that is being abused, it's always best to report it. As a teacher, if anyone says anything to me about abuse that is happening, I have to legally report it so that we can get those kids or whoever the help that they need to get them out of that tough situation. So those are the different kinds of abuse that you will be required to know for this class. And I hope that you have learned a little bit, and we will continue to do a couple more activities regarding child abuse.